You are tuning in to the Cigar Guys Podcast, where aficionados and newcomers alike gather to explore the vast cigar universe. Meet your host, Alexander Gonzalez, Mark Nikollaj, his big little brother Zachary Nikollaj, and Jared Burrows. So sit back, light up, and let's get the conversation started. But first, a quick word from our sponsors.
What if every cigar was considered vintage? What if every cigar that we made was that perfect experience? And so that passion drove us to create Sans Pareil, a cigar without equal. The inspiration between Sans Pareil is 100% all about quality. Everything that we enjoy in our cigars, everything from the tasting notes to the burn, to the aroma, to the way the cigar lights, to the packaging, everything is focused on Sans Pareil cigars. And that's where we came up with our name, Sans Pareil, which is French for without equal, unparalleled. And we take every cigar that we make to that level, making sure that if it isn't something that inspires you to do something more, then it's not part of the portfolio, and that's what drives us every day.
All right. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Cigar Guys Podcast. We are not in the studio today. We're actually in a remote location, one of my favorite lounges ever, Empire Social Cigars. So we're here. Jared's here, obviously. Myself, Alex, is here. And we have a special guest to talk about the cigar that we're smoking today. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you Alejandro from Don Emmanuel Cigars.
Thank you.
Good to
Thank you
see
for
you.
the opportunity, Alex.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So we're smoking here Don Emmanuel,
Yes.
the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
First of all, tell us a little bit about your story, how you got into cigars, and what kind of led you into being in the position you are today.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to talk a little bit about the brand. Don Emmanuel brand was born in Brazil 2 years ago in 2023. We are three partners in the company. Our partner, the creator, Don Emmanuel, he's coming from a distinguished tobacco family in Brazil. So he was the one that had all the idea to have the brand of the Don Emmanuel. Then he connected with Olivier, coming from the corporate world. He was the president of PepsiCo in Latin America for the corporate industry and the food industry. And I was working with Olivier, and I joined the company as well. So that's how the brand was born in Brazil 2 years ago. We started there, and then we were expanding around the world. We are right now in 8 countries already.
Which is very impressive. I remember we talked prior to this, being with all due respect, a smaller, newer company and being in 8 different countries distributing worldwide is almost unheard of with a lot of companies. So that is something that is very impressive to be proud of. And who is the master blender for Don Emmanuel Cigars?
This cigar is a creation of the 2 very important persons. The master blender, Eladio Diaz, from Dominican Republic, Santiago Los Caballeros. He used to be the master blender for Davidoff for more than 40 years, so very well known in the tobacco industry. And also, Emmanuel, as I was saying before, he's a master cigar sommelier. He's coming from a tobacco family. His grandmother used to work in the industry in Brazil. So he has been making some speeches in Intertabac and PCA, so he got a close relationship. And when we decided to start with this, we tried to find someone, an expert. And so we went to Eladio to create this special tobacco Anunnaki.
Absolutely. I mean, Eladio Diaz, for anyone that knows the industry, knows that Eladio Diaz is obviously, as you said, master experience. He was 4 years at Davidoff. Now he's doing so much blending for, different companies, but his work speaks for itself. And of course, with this cigar, when we first tried it, thank you guys, of course, for giving us these cigars and the cigars prior to try. We were really impressed with the quality and especially the flavor. For me, I think the flavor of the cigar is the best attribute my favorite attribute.
Yeah.
You know, construction is very important, but I think that for me, the most important is flavor. So having a cigar that tastes phenomenal, such as this one, is the most important. And of course, great draw, great construction. So we were very impressed with our initial cigars.
Yeah, just to complement something that we were looking with Eladio was the consistency. When we first started on the brand, we wanted to have consistency in the time. So not only launch a brand and then change it and change it, just try to find consistency. And with Eladio, we found that in the construction of the cigar.
Of course, yeah. And being someone that was in the industry for so long,
Yeah.
I'm sure that he's able to facilitate that. And so tell me a little bit about the name, why you guys went with the Anunnaki, the story behind that. Because, I mean, some people might be familiar with what Anunnaki is, but tell us kind of how that came about.
Yeah, that's an Don Emmanuel idea. He was very interested in that story behind the Anunnakis. You know, the Anunnakis are the creator of the humanity according to the Sumerian mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has been very, looking about that. And so he wanted to create that idea behind the brand. So that's why we have the Anu, who is the god of the earth, and Ki, the godness of the sky. So created the Anunnaki according to Sumerian mythology. So he was the one that has the idea to have the magical, behind the brand.
No, I like that. I like a cigar that subtly tells a story or makes you ask the question, what is Anunnaki? Like, what is the story behind that? And then, of course, like what we did, you go look up the website and see, okay, what's the story behind this? Why did they choose to use Anunnaki? But I do like the cigar industry kind of bringing in either history or mythology to kind of give more depth to the industry, because cigars can be pretty boring at times. But I think what we're seeing is the industry is moving into a point where the creators and the idea guys are saying, how can we make this more interesting from a consumer perspective? But of course, just so that way we're not just smoking a cigar. We're smoking either a piece of history or a piece of mythology. And two, it's not Greek mythology. It's not, everyone knows Greek mythology. That's more common. But having different types of mythology or different types of history to showcase is always a great thing.
Yeah. No, that's why Emmanuel wanted to create that, as I was saying before, the magical behind that. So we have found in many events, people that, as you said before, they are very well known about they have very good information about the Anunnaki, but others, what does it mean? What is that character in the ring? So that's something that Emmanuel wanted to create and has been working very well. So that's why the key is our Robusto and Anu is our Toro. So that's people start to trying to make the connections with the mythology.
And tell us a little bit about the blend of the cigar, what we're smoking right now.
Yeah, it's a very interesting what Eladio and Emmanuel wanted to create in this cigar that evolves while you are smoking it. The blend, it has 7 different leaves. It has it has a wrapper from Dominican Republic, Corojo. It's a wrapper from Dominican Republic, from San Juan de la Maguana. Something that Eladio was the creator, if you wanna say it like that, is a creator, because that Corojo made in San Juan de la Maguana have the elasticity to be, to be the perfect for the tobacco. So we have the wrapper from Dominican Republic, binder Negrito San Andres from Mexico, that have the creamy, the cocoa flavor while you are smoking the cigar. That's why you have to you feel the changes while you are smoking the cigar. It's not a flat cigar, and also have 5 fillers from Dominican Republic. So that's why they made the creation of this, this masterpiece.
I think, as far as I understand, 7 is usually the max amount of leaves you can use with a cigar of this size, like a Robusto or a Toro. Yeah. So if you told me 8, I would have said, I don't know. I don't know about that. But no, in all honesty, the fact that you guys, a lot of you and the team was able to use 7 different tobaccos in a cigar and have them all become balance and work with each other is great, because this is by no means a like super complex cigar, like almost too complex. It's very balanced.
Yeah.
It has great flavor, and all the flavors complement each other all the way through, as we'll get through today. I mean, I know this is our second time, but
I can't stop retrohaling. It just tastes so good.
very
And
smooth.
he's a major fan of retrohaling. So I mean, for me, the flavor is just so good. Even just pairing it with water, I can only imagine it to be elevated even more with like a whiskey or a double espresso, something like that.
And also the number 7 is like the lucky 7. You
Yes.
have some
I
magical
was waiting for that.
things behind this, the number 7. So that's why Eladio did that.
Okay, yeah. Which is my favorite number, by the way.
Oh, you see? You got
That and the number 3.
Okay.
But yeah, no, 7, I mean, going back to the kind of magical mythology, maybe spiritual aspect of it, yes, 7 is known to be like the heavenly number, a really good number. So, and I don't know if that was intentional or not.
It was intentional.
It was intentional.
It was
yeah.
intentional. We have when we had a conversation with him, he was thinking in something, different, something to be, magical. Because when he was talking with Emmanuel about the Anunnakis, about the mythology and everything, so he thought in having a 7 leaf as a number for
Okay.
for
What's
something different.
What's so funny is that when me and Alex came down here about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we saw this at a local cigar lounge, I think in Fort Lauderdale.
It was we were in West Palm.
West Palm.
Yeah. And so legitimately, a few hours before we got here, I looked at him. I'm like, "There's a cigar called like Anunnaki. That's kind of cool. Like I've never seen that before." Fast forward a few hours ago, we get introduced to Juan Carlos, to Byron. Byron introduced us, said, "You got to try this cigar," and here we are today, trying the cigar that we saw in the humidor at another place.
There's no coincidence.
No, there's no such thing as coincidences. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, so exactly. When we're talking about the lucky number here, it's kind of like,
Well, now too, we know he's not lying when he says that the cigar is actually, in a bunch of different lounges. We saw it firsthand.
Yeah, true. That's good.
No, but seriously, I mean, back to what Jared was saying about the cigar itself. The retrohale, very smooth, brings out a lot of flavors. I like retrohaling because I think that gives you that almost 100% experience of the cigar. You get to taste all the tobacco leaves, the flavors that Eladio has designed to, come out of the cigar. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's interesting what Eladio tried to create on the cigar. When it starts with the spicy that wakes up your flavor under your mouth, and then when you continue, you get slower with the creamy part of the cigar, and then finish it with a more strength at the end of the smoke.
So how long have you been with the company?
I have been with the company the 2 years since when the company was created. We were together, and as I said before, we started in Brazil. And since Emmanuel and Olivier, they are located in Brazil, so
Okay.
they are there. And since I'm here, I was responsible or in charge to the expansion around the world.
Okay.
So I'm coming from the multinational business as well, as I said before, and I have been, trying to expand. We born as a boutique cigar, but made to the world.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, 2 years and having that expansion, obviously you're doing great work. So you're traveling a lot, I imagine, to get the cigar brand kind of going. But you're based out of Miami,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. Okay. How often do you have to travel to meet with new people across the country?
I'm traveling right now every month. Last month I was in Dominican Republic because of the expansion we launched. Even though we have a tobacco from Dominican Republic or cigar from Dominican Republic, we launched last month in Dominican Republic.
Okay.
A few months ago, I launched in Puerto Rico as well. And in 2 weeks, I'm traveling to the Northeast. We are expanding in the Northeast.
New Hampshire
the all Northeast. Yeah, that means New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island. And we're going to have some events. Actually, Emmanuel is going to be with me traveling to the Northeast in order to have some events to get the brand known as well as we did it here in Miami with Juan Carlos.
Mhm.
So, and also Olivier, part of his job is he's board of director of different companies around the world. So he's helping me with Qatar, South Africa as well. So we're partnering in that.
Very nice. I mean, having the Northeast, that's a whole project for you guys. You're gonna have your work cut out for you. Just like Florida, I mean, a huge market for the cigar industry. The Northeast, especially like the New Hampshire area, a lot of good business out there for cigars. So I think that it's going to be very successful.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting moving north because it's a completely different, as I know, it's a completely different profile of consumers.
Different market.
Yeah, they are more willing to try things different. So what we have heard from the sales rep that we have there, people are more willing to they're open to try different things. So it's as a new brand, as you were saying, 2 years. So when you're coming with something different, Eladio is very well known over there. So we were with Eladio a few weeks ago when he was traveling there. So we are trying to take advantage of that and expand in the Northeast. Then we have planned to move to Texas and then California, which are very interesting markets for
Midwest,
the cigar industry. Yeah.
Nice.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. The two markets being, let's say, Florida or just the Southeast versus the Northeast, in my experience, very different markets. And then two, if you're going to talk about the Midwest or Texas by itself, it's just crazy to see how different the market is as you move across the country. The different consumers, but also kind of where in the industry each market is. And for example, I would say that like the Midwest, from what I've seen, they still love a lot of the mainstream brands, and they're kind of starting to come around to more boutique brands. Whereas, like you said, in the Northeast, they want to try new stuff. They want to bring in new brands, see what works, what doesn't. But of course, like you said, having Eladio Diaz behind it, it's like, okay, if you know anything about the cigar industry, you know that he's one of the best.
Yeah.
And you know that his name speaks volumes in terms of blending.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's give it a shot.
And also interesting right now in the market, and we were talking about the Robusto and the Toro, but we have the Corona Fina in teens. So it's the same 7-leaf cigar in a 38x4 cigar, Vitola. And with the winter coming, you don't have time to spend like an hour or 1.5 hours for a cigar. So the teens are a very good solution now that the winter is coming. So that's why we're gonna move to the Northeast right now to enhance our presence there.
No, and besides just the fact that, especially if you're up in the Northeast, it's cold, you don't have a lot of time if you have to smoke outside. Personally, I really much enjoy the thinner ring gauges and the smaller cigars in general, especially with a cigar as flavorful as this. Having it in that smaller size brings out even more flavor. It's just a completely, in my opinion, elevated experience. Because like I said earlier, I'm all about the flavor. And having those shorter sizes, number one, 30 minutes, 45 minutes maybe, but the flavor is just so intense, and it's great. Yeah.
Are you bringing the Corfina to the events as well?
Yeah. We're taking Corona Fina out to our events, yes, as well. And especially during this time of the year, we're going to be very, focused on that.
And that size is out right now?
Yeah, it's out. It's out right now. It was the launch. We launched it on PCA.
Oh, okay.
And something interesting that I wanted to make a point here is our Corona Fina is a long field cigar. Some people, when people see the tins, people think that they have made by short field. But our cigar is a long field cigar. It's the seventh, as I said before, the 7 leaf, exactly the same in that Vitola.
Which is great. I mean, in terms of the smaller sizes like that, especially being a premium cigar, it needs to be that long filler cigar. For the construction, obviously. I mean, just because it's a smaller cigar, I believe you shouldn't use the short filler. Because too, you have the ash kind of falling apart. It's not the same experience. You want to have that premium, elegant experience, regardless of the size of the cigar.
Yeah. Let me ask this: when you do your events, what do you find works best? Standalone events That's about your individual cigars, or you do like a pairing with your cigars too?
Yeah, something that we are doing different in the events. Most of the company you see that they have the only cigars and maybe some goodies. We are partnering with a ron carúpano, a ron from Venezuela,
Nice.
and we are doing pairing in every event that we do. We're doing together with ron carúpano. So we give it a shot of the ron carúpano, 18 years old or 21 years old, and we do the pairing with the cigar. So that's something different. People really appreciate it
Yes.
because it's kind of a different experience when you have a cigar with a liquor. I know you can have it with whatever you want, but when you have it with a liquor, and especially this kind of rum with that age, it's kind of like a brandy or like a cognac. So you have a different taste with the mix with the different leaf and the flavor of the cigar, plus the rum, give an additional experience.
That's good.
Absolutely. I think in terms of events, especially more recently, like you said, a lot of times you do a cut and light, which is maybe just a cigar, kind of showcase the brand. But I think that the consumers, especially in our markets here, are longing for more of the experience aspect, which is, either a pairing and having the educational kind of aspect to it as well. I think that a lot of consumers find more value in that than simply the deals, like buy 3, get 1 or whatever.
Exactly.
So having the team go and conduct an experience for the consumers, I believe holds much more value at the end of the day, because when you have a great time with your friends, meeting the owners and the people that work with the brand, you come back to Empire Social and say, hey, I remember these cigar, and I want to continue to smoke the cigar and support the brand.
Yeah, it's something that we do. We not only give the event, but also we give it like a short speech about the cigar and also about the rum. So we are educating the people, because it's not only giving the cigar and that's it, buying like you say, 3 and get 1 free or whatever. So we try to explain how the cigar was made, the leaves that has, and also complement about the rum, how the rum was made, and everything.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely the way to go in terms of the events. You're already, halfway through now? So Jared's a faster smoker.
I like the flavor.
People.
We like to keep it like that. I like the flavor.
So you already got the creamy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm getting kind of towards the middle. So it's getting more towards that creaminess. I do enjoy a cigar that smooths out towards the end. A lot of times you might have a cigar where it really heats up as you get towards the end.
Yeah.
But like the first time we tried it, it was just smooth all the way through. And like you said, the creaminess has kind of come out. And that attributes to the fact that as you continue to smoke that cigar and get down to the end, it's still smooth. It's not harsh. The flavor is all still there. You don't get that bitterness. And the first time I had it, I was more like Jared. I was like puffing on it. I'm like, when the cigar is really good, I almost can't stop myself. I'm like, oh man. But trying to learn to slow down with this, it smokes great all the way through, regardless if you're smoking, in 30 minutes or if you're smoking it like in an hour.
Yeah.
But no,
so
it's very
the
great.
spices definitely cooled down a little bit.
Yeah.
And the flavor's all more creamy and smooth. Do you enjoy getting feedback from your events where when they do get a pairing or try the cigar for the first time, there's a difference between just a cigar by itself and with the actual pairing? Is that rum you chose to pair with to kind of open up more notes?
It all depends of the people. When they try it, the people they like it or they enjoy the cigar with the rum. People say, no, I prefer to have it with different liquor or only with coffee or water, just water. Yeah, but most of the people really appreciate that we do it with the rum. That's the feedback we have received from the events.
And I think too, you usually see whiskey pairings. That's probably the most common. What I've seen now a lot is rum being introduced more, or even tequila being introduced more. So kind of breaking against the stigma of cigars and whiskey solely. And then going back to that experience aspect, it's like, hey, listen, try this cigar with rum. If you're a whiskey drinker, and especially a rum that's been aged for 18 years it's not going to be, like most traditional rums. So bringing in that new experience to a lot of cigar smokers that maybe never thought about trying it with rum or with tequila or whatever the case is. I think that goes back to what we were saying earlier, where a lot of the brands are looking for new experiences to provide to the consumers.
Yeah. I don't know if you're checking my email or something like that, but we're going to have in New York something with tequila.
There we go. Really?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's just, you're already so ahead of the game. You know what I'm going to say. I know what you're going to say. You're obviously on the right path.
Yeah, we're going to have, it's going to be our first try with tequila. Let's see how it works. But in New York, we're going to have one event with a tequila.
Very nice. What else you got?
I would love to try rum with this actually, because I think that kind of being more floral notes, more sweetness, where I think if I had just pure scotch or a really hard bourbon, it may overpower it a little too much and then take away potentially. But I definitely want to try rum with this someday. But tequila, what tequila are you going to pair with it? Can you tell us more about that?
No. It's a surprise.
Okay. We'll keep asking questions until eventually you'll say.
No, that's okay. In 2 weeks, I'll let you know.
Okay.
But the thing with the rum and the kind of rum that we're doing is as you were saying, it's a very well aged rum. So it's a smooth rum. So it doesn't change your flavor when you're smoking the cigar. So that's why, because if you have it with a regular rum, probably it's going to be spicy or too sweet. So it's going to change the experience. So that's why we try to do it with a something, more premium, like the cigar.
Absolutely. And I do think that when pairing your cigar with something, whether it is liquor or whatever the case is, a lot of times people think that they have to try and match the flavor profiles together and almost come to the same conclusion. In my opinion, I think a great pairing is having something that's not very, very similar in flavor profile, but still complements each other. That brings out maybe flavors you didn't have before when smoking the cigar by itself. The rum might bring out, like you said, maybe some more floral notes or something like that. Or versus a lot of people might have a strong cigar with a really light liquor, or vice versa. They have that very light cigar and a really strong bourbon, and it can clash with the cigar, and you don't really have as good of an experience as smoking it by yourself or smoking it with a perfectly selected rum or whiskey or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the profile of the people, but at the end, you can, as I said, you can mix it with or pairing with whatever you like it or you prefer it. But we decided that we had a very good result so far with the rum, so we're going to continue. We're going to try, as I said, with the tequila to see with something different could give us the same result, and then try to move with another tequila or mezcal or something like that.
No, of course. But when you have something that works so great, I mean, obviously, continue to do that, provide a great experience for the consumers, which I think at the end of the day, that's what this industry is about. It's very much people oriented. I mean, when we come here and go to other places, there's nothing quite like it in this industry, where it almost feels like family. Yeah. A lot of the times, most people that you meet in the cigar industry, great people. And it feels like you've known them for so long. And that kind of adds to the whole experience aspect. So when you're in a room like this, doing the tasting and having that educational aspect, but then at the end, mingling with all the consumers, getting to know them, getting to share a little bit more about the brand, that is what separates this industry from a lot of other industries, maybe even all the other industries, in my opinion.
At the end is what you're looking for. You try to give an experience, try to enjoy both the cigar and also the conversation with other people. It's interesting. I have been, working every day in many different lounges, and it's interesting to see how people, you run into someone and you see 2 times, and it's like you feel that you're brothers, and you start talking with them, and it's very good the interaction that you have with the cigars. And also try something different. It's like kind of the wine industry. You don't have the same wine every single day. You have for an occasion, you have one different wine, or for the food that you are eating, you're trying to try something different. So it's very related, the industry, the cigar industry with the wine industry.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a great point too. I mean, me personally, I have my favorites when it comes to cigars, but I can't smoke the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
Whether it's my favorite brand or whatever the case is.
I do.
This guy,
do a lot.
when he first got in the industry, he was Padron 1926 every single day. I told him, there's other cigars out there, right?
Yeah.
But no, like I was saying, regardless of how great the cigar is, you got to have some variety, of course. Try different things or have different cigars in your rotation, which actually brings me to my next point. You don't have to say brands if you don't want to, but do you find yourself generally leaning towards either lighter cigars, more full cigars, or what your favorite wrapper is maybe, whether it's like, some type of Maduro wrapper or a natural wrapper?
For me, for medium cigars, medium to full, like the cigars that we have, I'm not that Maduros. I don't like a stronger cigar. Actually, someone made the same question a couple of days ago, and I said I'm more for Dominican Republic cigar rather than Nicaragua. But it's just my profile. It's not that it's good or bad. There is no rule, I think, on the industry. It all depends on your taste, on your preference. So, but for me, I'm medium to full.
No, absolutely. I think, of course, it's all about preference. Jared generally,
Smokes Maduros.
Maduros, the stronger the better in his case.
That way, if I have a coffee with it or whiskey, I can still taste the tobacco. It doesn't get overpowered.
Yeah.
You can still enjoy it.
For me, I agree with you for the most part. Medium body, maybe medium to full, or in terms of strength at least. Of course, I've gone through different phases where, I enjoy the Connecticut's for a good month or something. Then I kind of go back to maybe Maduro or that strict, like medium body, medium strength, natural wrappers. But that's kind of where I'm finding myself right now, is that true medium, like this, medium strength, still very smooth, not dark and not super rich flavors, but very pronounced flavors, and it's all very smooth. This is kind of like in my wheelhouse right now of what I'm smoking.
Yeah, and for me, something interesting and something that I like for a cigar is I don't like the flat cigars. That is the same from the beginning to the end.
Consistent, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer cigars that have the evolution while you are smoking. So it's the way that I like the cigar, medium to full with evolution.
For me personally, I don't care if the cigar is consistent all the way through or if it does change and evolve. For me, I think that you can have both, but you can create a fantastic cigar regardless. Yeah. Jared, I know he's told me before plenty of times, he loves a good consistent cigar that's all the way through. For me, I think that you can have either one, but the blender, of course, when you have a blender as great as Ladio, at the end of the day, they can make a fantastic cigar regardless. And that's, at the end of the day, the experience is what matters the most. Is the flavor great? If you prefer a cigar that's consistent all the way through, that's great. I'm hoping it tastes the same all the way through for you, or that it's at least great all the way through. But I think that there's something special about enjoying a cigar that transitions first, third, second, third, final third. There's something truly special about that.
Yeah.
You can't get that with, liquor or wine. You finish that glass from beginning to end, it's pretty much the same thing. Besides maybe like that first sip, you get that spice in the beginning, but pretty much same all the way through. Yeah. With cigars, it's something truly special that you really can't get anywhere else. Yeah. But yeah, really starting to get that creaminess now. Right towards the middle. It just switches. I wasn't even thinking about it.
The 3/3 very well defined, as you were saying. So start one way, chain, and finishes with the other one.
Absolutely.
You get a retrohale again. It's way smoother and creamier. And then it ends creamy too.
No, I think, and you can share your opinion on this too. In terms of retrohaling, do you believe, in your personal opinion, there's no right opinion, but do you believe that it's almost necessary to retrohale at least periodically throughout the cigar, or do you think that it's not necessary?
I think when you retrohale the cigar, you get more experience because it wakes up more flavors. You know that in your mouth you have only 4, bitter, sour, salty, and I think bitter,
Sweet.
and sweet.
Yeah.
When you get retrohale, you wake up more taste on the cigar. So you don't have to do it every time that you smoke. But if you're trying something different, something new, it's recommended to have the retrohale to get more flavors and on the cigar that you're trying to smoke.
Absolutely. See, my problem, well, it's not really a problem for me now, but once I learned to retrohale, I found myself not being able to stop. So now every time I puff, I'm like retrohaling all the time, which, you know, you get used to it. But there's some people like Zach and Mark that aren't here with us today. They were smoking cigars for 5-6 years and never learned how to retrohale. And finally I was like, all right, we're going to sit down and I'm going to show you how to do it so that you can at least do it once or twice throughout the cigar and really taste the tobaccos for what they are. And yeah, once you figure out that, you understand it's a fully different experience. I think that's the thing is you don't really conceptualize it until you try it for yourself.
Yeah, it's a completely different experience. So it complements. I mean, it's not that you have to, but it complements the way to taste a cigar.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree.
I think wine and cigars are very similar in the sense that everyone has a unique palate, so everyone's experience is slightly different. So it's different for everybody, right? Sometimes you could have the same wine over and over again, but you get different flavors based on what you're pairing it with. But with this, you know, it starts off, you know, a little spicy, and then it gets a little more creamy and more smooth as we go throughout, which is fantastic. But everyone's experience is a little different. So I'm very curious. Like I said before, I really want to pair this with some rum later or something like that, just to try it out, just to see how much it changes. Maybe it doesn't change at all. That's a fun experience all about it. Because then I get to share my experience with like you and Alex, and you know, see what the feedback, you know, feels like. You know, maybe you never heard that before, or maybe it's completely brand new. But it's a different experience, or can be a different experience every time. You know.
When regarding as you were saying regarding the wines. For example, if you have the wines from the Europe, they are more, the soil is more mineral rather than the New World wines like in Chile, for example, or California. Exactly the same with the cigars in Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. Nicaragua, the soil is more mineral, probably have more strength, the cigars, rather than Dominican Republic that is more Caribbean, more rainforest, so has like a flavors less strong.
Yeah.
And personally, you kind of touched on it a little bit. Pairing wine with cigars, I think that
Underrated.
You think so?
You never seen anyone do it.
Well, I think it's not as common. Maybe
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. For me, I used to do it, but I found that the wine for me changes the flavor of the cigar almost too much, I think.
So overwhelming.
Yes, especially because I drink red wine. So the red wine is definitely going to impact the flavor.
Well, I drink red wine too. So
yeah, but it all depends the kind of wine. But if you try like maybe Pinot Noir, something less strong like Chardonnay or Cabernet Sauvignon, maybe it's it doesn't change that much. If you get it like a strong Cabernet, probably it's going to change because it's like a more dry, so probably could change a little bit the flavor of the cigar.
No, that makes 100% sense. I think with Jared, he'll smoke any cigar, pair it with anything, and he'll tell me it's good. I'm like, you got like.
Yeah, I mean, because I picked out a good cigar.
We did today. I'll tell you that.
We did today, yeah.
So, as we approach the end, final thoughts, what you want the consumer to know about this brand, why it stands out amongst the rest?
No, just to final comments, we are continue expanding our presence around the world. We just opened UK. We have some other countries in Europe in plan. We're going to have more news for PCA. I think we're going to get another Vitola for Anunnaki, for the Anunnaki line. And then we're going to move to another blend, another line, and also a special edition. So there are more news to come from Don Emmanuel Cigars. So I think that's the final comments. So let's continue with the story. Let's continue building our brand around the world. We are here to stay and come. It's not that just launching a brand just for having a cigar. So we are pretty confident that the good results that we are having in the Anunnaki, we're going to continue having in the new line that we're going to bring to the market.
So really only in a few more months, by the time PCA rolls around, we're going to learn a lot more of what's to come from Don Emmanuel Cigars. That's really exciting. And in all seriousness, for those of you watching this, check out Don Emmanuel Cigars. Second time around for us, and I think it's even better this time. Now that we kind of know what to expect, the cigar is truly fantastic. So definitely try it out and be on the lookout for more news to come. I'm excited to learn what you guys are going to be doing in the years to come. But thank you very much, Alejandro, for joining us and sharing the Don Emmanuel experience with us here at a great lounge like Empire Social.
Thank you, you guys, and thank you, Empire and Byron, for giving us the opportunity to have this podcast here in this fabulous place. And enjoy the cigar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And until next week, guys, we'll see you later. Definitely check out Don Emmanuel Cigars. Until next week, take care.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Cigar Guys Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the latest episodes. Looking for short-form content? Check out all our social media accounts in the description below. And now, a final word from our sponsors.
What if every cigar was considered vintage? What if every cigar that we made was that perfect experience? And so that passion drove us to create Sans Pareil, a cigar without equal. The inspiration between Sans Pareil is 100% all about quality. Everything that we enjoy in our cigars, everything from the tasting notes to the burn, to the aroma, to the way the cigar lights, to the packaging, everything is focused on Sans Pareil cigars. And that's where we came up with our name, Sans Pareil, which is French for without equal, unparalleled. And we take every cigar that we make to that level, making sure that if it isn't something that inspires you to do something more, then it's not part of the portfolio, and that's what drives us every day.